So today we're going to look at how to build up that initial concentration that we need in the practice. So basically there's 3 things that we need to do. Does anyone want to take a guess at what those 3 things are? To build concentration or share your knowledge? I shouldn't say guess. I'm used to no one responding to me when I ask questions. Okay, it's quite simple, quite basic stuff. To build concentration, first thing what we need to do is turn our attention inward. So when you're going to do the meditation practice, even if there is distraction around you and your mind's busy, make the determination at the beginning, for this period of time, I'm not going to take any interest in anything outside of my own experience or outside of myself. You turn your attention inwards. The next one, to build concentration, you ignore all distractions. Ignore. Because we're building concentration here, not mindfulness. There is mindfulness present, but at this point we want to build up our concentration. So ignore all distractions. Turn the attention inward, ignore all distractions. Okay? And then the last one is we have to apply and sustain our attention on something. And if you're looking at building concentration, initial concentration, you want to have something that is obvious to you over time. So we want to have one object. Yeah? That's why we start off with our body. It's just one object, isn't it? Just that experience of our body. Yeah? So turn your attention inward. Yeah? And then what you want to do is you want to ignore all distractions. That means if a thought comes up, ignore it. Pain in the knee, ignore it. Sleepiness, ignore it. Ignore all distractions. Apply your attention to your object. In this case, it's the body, and then it might be mindfulness of breathing. It might be the in and out breath. Don't look at the breath in detail. Just look at the middle of each breath, not the beginning or the end, because we want to build up concentration. If you do this, the breath will appear as one breath. You won't see the change. It will appear like it's one breath if you're just looking at the middle. The concentration will start to build that way. Yeah? Once the concentration has built enough that you start to feel that the hindrances are being suppressed to a certain extent and the mind is settled down, that means you're not controlled by the thinking anymore. You might still hear sounds, there might still be thoughts coming up, right? There might be still stuff going on, still emotions or whatever, but when you've got enough concentration, you'll know, because at that stage you won't feel like you're controlled by them, or you won't feel as attracted to them. Yeah? And the same goes for everyday life too. When the concentration, the mindfulness is in balance, you might feel fear, but you don't feel controlled by it. You might feel irritation. You can be with that irritation without having to identify with the story and act it out. And it doesn't take a lot of concentration to do that, does it? But we still have to build up that initial concentration. That's why I tell you, in everyday life and in formal practice, the first thing you do in any situation is ground your awareness in your body. This is because this will hold you in the present, it will anchor you in the present. Right? And what it will do is it will build up concentration. And as that builds, you'll find it's easier to be with whatever is. Does that make sense so far? Kind of? Yeah? Okay. So if we're going to develop concentration in the practice, there's actually stages of development. And so if you're aware of these stages of development, you can watch them in yourself. And of course, by stages, it means what you do is you work on one stage. When that's developed, then you go to the next stage. Yeah? So I've kind of mapped them out here for you. So the first stage is to...
Turn inwards.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Inwards towards what? What's the first stage?
Towards the body.
Towards the body. And what aspect of the body are you turning your attention inwards towards?
Your breath?
No.
Sensations in the body.
Yeah, you're turning your attention towards the sensations in your body. So I'm not turning my attention inwards and going, geez, I'm a handsome lad, aren't I? I'm so hot. I'm so attractive. That's not the side of self-reflection that we're talking about. Well, geez, I'm well dressed today. The sort of attention that we're turning towards is our experience of our body, the sensations within it, because those sensations can only be experienced right now. Not in the past, not in the future, right now. So if you turn your attention, you're probably doing that now that I'm mentioning it, notice how it holds you very, very present. Very present. You can't wander off while you're feeling your body. That starts the concentration developing. So what you do is turn your attention towards those sensations and you'll feel it anchor. Stay in there long enough that your mind starts to calm down and it becomes easier to stay with that body, that feeling of your body. Once that is started to sustain, then what you want to do is try to feel each moment. So notice you can feel the sensations in your body. Now what I want you all to do, feel the sensations in your body and feel that you've got to have your attention keep reapplying in each moment. Not just feel them, you've got to reapply, reapply, reapply. Can you feel each moment passing? You've got to hold, hold, hold. See, that's that reapplication, applied and sustained attention. You have to keep reapplying your attention to it. It's no good just turning your attention towards it. Remember, everything is impermanent, including the experience of our body, including the attention watching the experience of our body. So we have to keep reapplying that attention. If you notice, if you put your attention in your body and keep reapplying it, now start to notice how the mindfulness and concentration starts to grow. Just your only effort is to keep reapplying your attention. See what happens. Can you feel it? Each moment is different. Each moment is slightly different. It contains the sounds, it contains everything is contained within each moment, and each moment is different. So you actually start to feel a momentum build there. Can you feel that? So if we understand it's not just feeling that, it's like that reapplication and sustaining, and then you start to feel it build. This is your job during meditation. It's very, very gentle. But you need to put a lot of effort into that gentleness and just being present. Then what we do is we soften into. Softening into is a technique I'm trying to pass on to you. Soften into means relax into your relationship to what you're experiencing. So it doesn't matter what you're experiencing. It doesn't matter if it's chaotic around the outside of you, chaotic in your own mind. Doesn't matter. Your job is just to be aware of it, sustain your attention on it, and relax into it, soften into it. So just want to try that now. So awareness of your body. Sustain your attention in each moment. Feel how each moment is different. Now allow each out-breath to help you soften and relax into each moment and see what happens. Notice how you have to keep remembering to feel your body, to sustain the attention and to soften. When you do this, you'll feel a flow of each moment, how each moment is slightly different. And then the sounds won't disturb you. Can you see? Apply the attention. Yeah, feel the body, turning it inward, feeling your body, immerse in the body. Feel each moment as it passes, relax into each moment. As you do that, you'll find your breathing will start to appear. This is the fourth stage. You don't have to turn your attention towards the breath. When you relax into each moment, the breathing will appear to you, because breathing is just another experience of your body. It's just more sensations in your body, isn't it? Yeah? So don't go looking for the breathing. It will appear when you relax into your body. What you do is you don't actually make any effort to look at the breath. You just know it when it appears. You notice that as you relax down and soften into it, it appears by itself. This is because your awareness is becoming more magnified to one point. In doing that, things that aren't obvious to you will start to become obvious. So normal everyday life, the breathing is quite subtle unless we're stressed or upset or something, isn't it? Or exercising. But as our awareness grows, because we're holding it in one point, relaxing in, the breathing will become very obvious to us, even if it's very subtle. Then what do you do then? You feel each moment of the breath. So you narrow your attention from the whole of the body, then down to be aware of the whole of the breath. See how we're increasing our accuracy here? We're coming further in. Then you feel the full length of each breath. But don't look at it in any detail. As your attention starts to sustain on the breath, you soften into it. Start to notice any tension, resistance you're holding in the breathing. You'll feel tightness. Relax into it. It's very common for people to feel tightness around here or down lower diaphragm area. Soften into it. As you do that, guess what? The breath will change. Know that it's changing. Like each moment is changing, but continue to soften, soften. So you want to soften while you're being aware of, not just soften, otherwise you'll fall asleep. So as this develops, you'll find your awareness will become more clear, more alert. Yeah? And the breathing will become more relaxed and more gentle. While you're building concentration, what you want to do is you want to ignore all distractions at this point. Want to give that a go now? Yeah? So just close your eyes over lightly. So you want to immerse your awareness, your attention within your body. Feel all the sensations within your body. Now feel each moment as it passes while you hold your attention on your body. Feel how each moment is different. Put your effort into sustaining your attention within each moment. Your job is just to reapply your attention and be aware. Now allow each out-breath to help you soften into your body. Relax into it. As you do this, your breathing will appear to you. When it does, don't change it in any way. Just be mindful of the full length of each breath. Now notice any tension you're holding in the breathing or in the watching itself, and relax into that every time the breath goes out. Now that we've built up some concentration, I want you to no longer ignore distractions. Turn your attention to the very moment your breath begins and the very moment it ends. If your attention wanders anywhere to a thought or a sound or a pain, turn your attention towards it and investigate it. If nothing draws your attention, come back to the breathing, watching the beginning, the middle and the end of the breath. If while you're doing your mindfulness practice, you feel that your concentration is getting too low, that is, your attention doesn't want to watch, or stay anywhere clearly but becomes agitated, then what you do is you start again. Immerse your awareness in your body. Feel each moment of your attention sustained on your body. And then soften back into it until the breathing once again appears. And if you do that now, you'll notice how your mind becomes more anchored and starts to settle down. Now, when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. So could you see the process? So what we want to do is we want to initially focus our mind in a way that builds up concentration so that we can actually be with things. And those speed humps are working overtime today, aren't they? Yeah? If we don't do that, if we don't build up that initial concentration, you can do it with straight mindfulness, but it'll be harder. Traditionally, a lot of teachers have methods for building that initial concentration up first. You can't go wrong with building it up in your body and then following the breath. Notice that once you build up some concentration, the attention didn't want to go out as much, it was more sitting still within. Quieten down a bit. Once it's at that stage, then change the way you're watching the breathing. And that's why I said, instead of watching the middle of the breath as one breath, turn your attention to the beginning, middle and end of each breath. Try to see the gap between the breaths, if there is one, and the very moment the next breath arises, and so on. Then if your attention wanders off to a thought, to a sound, to a pain, to whatever it is, a like, dislike, doesn't matter what it is, go with that movement of attention, plant your attention straight on it and start investigating. What are you investigating? Your relationship to it. What's my relationship to this thought? What's my relationship to this sound? What's my relationship to this pain? What's my relationship to this judgment? And then you're doing mindfulness practice, because you'll find by investigating this and watching these relationships, things will start changing. Your object will start changing. Sometimes you'll go out and it'll swap from one object to another, to another, to another. And then you get to a point where you feel like your attention isn't getting drawn anywhere. Bring it back to the breathing again. Start investigating that. If you find that you're getting very dispersed and lost, and you're starting to become a bit restless with whatever it is, more lost in thought, more irritated with sound or whatever it is, or the pain in your knee, then what you do is you go back to concentration practice. Immerse your awareness in your body, feel each moment, soften into it, breathing appears, build up your concentration on the breath. When it's sustaining, it's settled, sustaining, then you turn back to mindfulness practice, start looking at change, no longer ignoring distraction. So this is this skill. There's a balance between concentration and mindfulness. If we're too concentrated and not enough mindfulness, we won't see anything. We'll feel numb. It's almost like our body's disappeared, numb, not many sensations, not many distractions, no thoughts, just sitting there still, bit blissful and everything's right with the world, but we're not gaining any wisdom, any knowledge. Yeah? If we haven't got enough concentration with our mindfulness, our attention won't be able to stay anywhere long enough, or won't be able to see clearly enough anything that will actually understand or learn anything as well. Generally, if the concentration isn't high enough with that mindfulness, what will happen is we'll see things very superficially, and then suddenly before we know it, we'll be lost in them, and it's like, oh, the story of my life. Yeah? So whatever comes up, you need to build just that concentration basis first. And see, it doesn't take much, does it? Notice it didn't take much concentration for you to settle down enough so that you could actually be aware of your attention wandering around and not being lost and identifying in it. Yeah. Is that starting to make a bit more sense? Difference between the two? Play with it in your own practice at home and you'll start to see the difference, because these are two factors that you've got to balance. You've got to balance the mindfulness, the concentration and the effort, and the amount of effort that you put in. And the effort is a lot lower than what we think. We don't have to look for things, things will present themselves to us. Our job is just to keep reapplying our attention. As soon as we forget to reapply, well, we're gone. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. It's lovely seeing you here. Okay. Have a really nice week, okay? If you've got any questions, there's a question section on the Meditation in the Shire website now where I've got questions other people have asked me. There's an email address there, you can email me, or you can post them on Facebook if you want, or you can private message there as well. I don't put your full name if it publishes up there. The best questions go up there with the answers just to help everybody, so everybody can help. But usually what I use is first names, and if the person doesn't want to be identified at all, then I just put anonymous next to it as well, so you can request that. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, goodbye.